Hi everyone, welcome into our studio. This morning I want to talk about a difficult subject, that is how to get over when you don't like your work. In other words, how can you continue on with a painting that isn't really appealing to you, or that you're having thoughts about that tell you it's not good, it's not what I wanted, it isn't looking like whatever. And you can go down the rabbit hole from there. So let's address some of that, and I can use this painting as my example. I've been working on this for maybe a month or so. I started it and I got the colors on, which are the image colors according to Rudolf Steiner's color theory. The green working towards the peach blossom, areas of white, and of course the dark black. And it's not a color theory that is imbued naturally with luster and light, and therefore it is difficult to somehow connect to it in life. But if you let it be sometimes, you'll feel differently about the picture after you come back to it. And that's precisely what I have done. I've left the picture the way it was for a month, and I pass by it every single day as I'm working with students here in the studio. And finally I took some chalk and I just decided to do what was really presenting itself. So the number one reason that you should get over your feelings about your picture is because if you don't, you won't progress through the process and find what the image really is saying to you and what it's speaking forth itself. And how you do that is just look and look and look and look at the picture. And when you get to a place of surrender where you don't judge what you see anymore, but you just let what you see be good enough, that is the place where you can take chalk and maybe indicate a little bit. And you will notice that I had a strong sensation of this egg-like gesture. And it's actually a really good egg, hard to get. And inside here is a pathway which is leading back to a range of mountains in the distance. Is this a mirror reflecting what the viewer sees outside the picture, or is this a portal into something that has yet to be determined? But I do know that I have the hands over here together with this gesture of arm. I'm not quite sure, that's pretty long here, and we're going to have to drop down the head. So now let's get to painting it. So I said the most important thing is to continue on with the process. And if you're so busy worrying or criticizing your work, how you think it's supposed to look, then you're not going to want to finish it. So it's very important that you look into the picture and see what you like, what is actually working for you in the picture, and then you can ask yourself, how can I apply what I see that I think I've done well over here to this area over here, which I think really needs some help. And that's how we get forward. Now, as I said before, I don't love the color combination so much, but as I get spaces that are going to become gesture of arm, for example, here, it helps me to modulate the green or whatever color I'm doing. So the veils can be put on very heavy, let's say, or crisp, or we can take water and smooth them out. Generally speaking, you shouldn't go over what you've already painted. So I have a wet surface here. I need to leave that. I don't follow my own rules, but I should be leaving that in order to let it dry. I can rather work, say here, maybe here in what is going to be kind of the chest. And so there is the question of, at what point are you drawing onto the painting? And quite often when we connect to spaces and tonal areas of color, we connect to them as a representation, something that we know, then we begin to see it clearly in our mind, and we can grasp that concept and translate it into the medium we're using, in this case watercolor. So here, for example, I might see the dark black area as an area of where the hair of this individual who's holding the mirror or the egg shape is. And this hair might go off, I don't know how, but I do know that my mind has seen dark hair before. And I've seen women with dark hair flowing down over their shoulders, and men too. And I can see that the movement that the black will make will come down and then curve into this area. And then you might ask, well, what is this down here? Is this also a whole lot of dark hair? Is this long flowing hair? It could possibly be, but I don't know, and I don't have to make that decision right away. I can just paint along and see how things pop forward. This looks like it might be the knee and the calf coming down. And of course, I've had a lot of experience in my life with figure drawing, and so I know the human body. And I do suggest people to study as many different kinds of drawing as they can. But remember, a lot of this is just feeling, and it doesn't have to look exactly anatomically correct for us to get that this is a hand going back to that space or something like that. Okay, so now I want to just say in conclusion that the best thing you can do to help yourself to relieve this feeling of discomfort that you might have while going through the process of a veil painting is to what I call soften your eye. And by that, I mean look at your picture and maybe just squint at it and see if you can see the images and the forms in a way that might suggest something new to you. Or another way to soften your eye is to go away from the picture for a while and come back fresh into the room. Maybe you see it from 10 feet away and it'll suddenly strike you differently. I'm going to keep going with this. Now I've gotten past that feeling, I can be excited for what is going to appear.